A few days ago, I finished playing the true pacifist ending in Undertale. Supposedly, this video was a let's play video, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it already. My friends, YouTubers, TikTokers, and even strangers, they all talked about how beautifully Toby executed the game's ending. Even so, I didn't experience it. Eager to play, I bought the game on Steam and gave it a go, and damn was this worth it. This is why Undertale will stay with me forever. A lot of you may have seen me play the hard mode ending in my previous video, and if you did, thank you so much! In that video, I was particularly new to the feel of Undertale. Despite knowing most of the mechanics of the game from some YouTube videos, I still haven't beaten the game on my own, just like how I never beat Minecraft on single player without cheats. So, I tried. Once I uploaded the video, I booted up my game and started playing the neutral route off stream. You might think that the neutral route in itself is boring or just some cliche ending. I knew that the neutral route was something you inevitably had to go through when starting in the Undertale series, so I had the thought of, oh, this is just some sort of normal ending that everyone had to go through. I don't know what you consider normal, but it isn't for me to say the least. Unless this was a Souls-like game, Flowey shouldn't be able to be doing all that, bro. That's not a final boss in an indie game should look like, in my opinion. Asgore was already tough enough for someone new to the mechanics of the game. I really thought he was the final boss, but Undertale defied that expectation. I had the skepticism that the Photoshop Flowey was just a sort of myth or creepypasta that everyone in the community spread. Now that I actually fought it, makes it so much more meaningful to me that I beat this monstrosity on my own. Not only did it feel like an achievement, but the story that Toby Fox portrayed of the Souls' relevance to the game gave me absolute chills. As in, when I was playing it, I was astonished. I felt goosebumps. Literal goosebumps when I was fighting such a boss. It wasn't because Flowey was creepy or anything, but the way the game makes you understand the Souls and their willpower to fight against a tough opponent is just something you won't get from other indie video games. Now, I'm not here to talk about how great the story is though, since a lot of you might already know that. I'll be talking about how the game's one mechanic changed my perspective forever. A lot of people know by now that Undertale is about the freedom of choice. Your free will dictates the trajectory of the underworld and how it will progress from there. You can choose a life of peace or war depending on the actions you commit in your save files. By picking the pacifist route, the game taught me the act of compassion towards monsters that are ready to turn you away, or worse, kill you. When you play the true pacifist route, you should have already beaten the game once. A lot of theories arose from why this had to happen, but they all link to one character in the game, Flowey. Once you start true pacifist, Flowey is nowhere to be found in the usual parts of the game. Upon falling in the underworld, you'll be met by Toriel, not Flowey. The game also doesn't really have much of a difference from a neutral pacifist route, assuming you haven't killed anyone in the first run. You can befriend Papyrus and Undyne the same way. The only key difference here is that you will have to visit a new area in the game, the true laboratory. In this laboratory, we will find the true reason why Dr. Alphys shows anxiety and is scared to tell the truth to anyone. She showed us what she had been doing in the past, and honestly finding out about it is already shocking in itself. She also explains that the amalgamates, or the monsters she created, were like that because she wanted them to harness the power of the souls. This was a way for them to finally escape to the underground without attaining another human soul. In my opinion, this is actually a really nice thought if you think about it, because they didn't want to kill another human anymore. But then again, it might have been also the reason why they've been fighting for a new one so bad, because nothing really replaces a human soul. I don't know, that's just me though. Once we finish the true laboratory, we take the elevator up and meet Asgore. When we finally have to fight Asgore, we meet Toriel and the rest of our friends. Toriel intervened because she thinks it's awful how he wants to hurt such an innocent creature, and since Asgore still loves Toriel despite the divorce, he folds instantly. Bro folded under zero pressure, I'm telling you. This just shows how powerful the emotions of these video game characters can be, and despite their monster DNA, they can show humanity, therefore making it more relatable for some players. After this interaction, we meet Flowey once more, and finally shifting to his true identity, Azriel Dreamer. When I had to fight Azriel Dreamer, I thought that it would just be a normal fight. Something similar to King Asgore's boss fight. I thought it would just be a difficult boss fight to accomplish. Like, it's violence, just fighting the guy. But no, I was gravely mistaken as these events followed. In the first part of the boss fight, it was a simple bullet hell level. We just had to dodge and be patient with the attacks he's throwing at us. Then all of a sudden, he starts moving like he's in an 80s music video, and it was hype from there on. It was difficult though. I dodged bullet for bullet, lightning for lightning, and overall tried my best to win this unscathed. Then due to unforeseen circumstances, we fall.
I died. Of course I die.
Wait, what? Whoa, what? But it refused. But it refused. But it refused. But it refused. This part of the fight showed me the essence of the human soul, the true meaning of determination. It wasn't about who does the best damage or who can strike the strongest blow, but the consistency and dedication we do for the things we believe in. Azrael has shown to be a formidable opponent, even surpassing his own father in power levels. However, we chose to keep fighting despite the odds not being in our favor. Since our soul is the epitome of determination, this part of saving the rest of our friends is beautiful. It's because of how in such a difficult situation, we find different ways in handling it. We could have given up a while ago, like a long time ago. We could have just never played the game, you know? We could have just stopped playing the game, just uninstall, or just stay in the ruins and never progress. However, nothing stopped us from continuing on. Albeit the murderous intent that Azrael had for us earlier, we weren't just saving our friends under his control. We're also meant to save him. What are you doing? What am I doing? What am I trying to save? Azrael? Oh no! I'm gonna cry, no! This is not it, bro. Not his theme. Hi, Azrael. Oh no! Oh, that's so cute. The greatest ability we attained here isn't leveling up or getting the best weapon, but the way we can save a monster from his own monstrous acts to prevent a monster from becoming like an actual monster. After everything we went through, I want to emphasize the biggest lesson that I learned while playing the game. Real strength lies not in destroying others, but in saving them. The entire game teaches you what it means to be compassionate, determined, and hopeful in times of devastation and difficulty. Undertale isn't a game about monsters versus humans, but a game about living with the monsters. To me, the story reflects real life. Every day we meet people we don't understand, people who scare us, frustrate us, or seem totally alien. Sometimes we even consider them as monsters that have the power to corrupt and destroy us. However, in a world full of people who are trying to pull you down and destroy you, it's also important to remember that not everyone is trying to. I'm not saying to be carefree or start trusting everyone you meet as if they're your best friend, you know, but just be kind, be compassionate, be determined.